What is up, fellow nerds, and welcome to Not Your Status Quo's Theorypalooza Part 2 for the MCU Phase 4.
And next up, in February of next year, we got Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So there are so many rumors and casting rumors and just utter craziness about this movie happening. We know Wanda's going to be in it. Mm-hmm. Is she going to be villain? Is she going to help Doctor Strange? I think it might be a little of both.
I think she is primarily going to be very self-centered, probably a villain, but I think Doctor Strange is going to sort of force her into it in a way, because I think whether she's got the Darkhold or not, I believe his magic is still stronger than hers.
But remember, Agatha told us,
your power exceeds that of the Sorcerer Supreme.
I think he's going to know some sort of spell that she's unaware of to sort of trap her into helping him out in some way. I don't know if that's going to be sort of like maybe a Suicide Squad kind of thing where you've got to help me or else, or I can help you get your kids back because you haven't been able to figure out the spell, and so if you help me, then I can help you construct the spell kind of thing, something. But I don't think she's just going to go along with it unless there's something in it for her.
I think you hit the nail on the head with the kids. I think her main goal is getting that family back that she lost at the end of WandaVision. She wants those kids, and I think if Doctor Strange approaches her and says, don't use the Darkhold, let me help you.
I don't think that he would help her get her kids back. I don't think he's that kind of guy.
He may say he's going to help her, but
yeah.
You're right, he may not.
He's a bit of a, I'd say, a manipulative kind of guy.
Believe it!
I also think Doctor Strange's opinion of her is going to be kind of like me with my reviews. You know, I tend to stay towards the positive. He's going to know, hey, she fought with the Avengers. She was there, you know, in Infinity War, and she did all this stuff. He maybe won't see her in the light that he should. He may have a positive spin on her and unaware of kind of where she's heading. Because I think she's heading towards a villainous role. I think it's going to be a lot like Darker Than Scarlet, you know, the Burn Run in West Coast Avengers, where she kind of loses it with all the stuff that's happened. You know, a lot of things have happened to her. She lost the vision, then she created, you know, she kind of already had a sort of mental breakdown with what she did in WandaVision. What do you think the odds are that Ralph Boner...
You're Ralph Boner?
...is actually Jimmy Woo's Witness Protection Program and actually Pietro from the X-Men universe, the first person to cross over from the multiverse?
Here's my thought on that. Can Agatha give somebody super speed? And if she can, that's quite a power.
I don't think she can, and I think they're going to have to do something to explain it away. But I also lean towards, I think that's exactly what they're going to do. I think they're going to try to find some way to explain it away. Because if you recall, I mentioned this back in one of our WandaVision videos. I said that I'm pretty sure they just did it as, hey, let's make a boner joke. That'll be super funny. And I think people are going to be like, oh, but it'd be so cool if we had him back as Quicksilver. I don't know that they're going to do that, though. I don't know. They seem to have really dug their heels into the dirt over it.
Well, and the other thing, it is the boner joke. All right, if that's really his name, why does he make a joke about it at the end when she says, you know, Ralph Boner, and he goes, Boner.
Boner.
Do you do that with your own name when somebody says your own name to you? No, you don't make a joke out of it. So, you know, you could be onto something here.
I think that they could go that route if they wanted to. And I sometimes think
they
they sort of test the waters and see if people are... And it could be something where the multiverse is broken now. But by the end of Phase 4 or Phase 5, it's going to be back intact with maybe the ability to jump between universes. But it's not going to be... So he may be around for Phase 4 a little bit to help. But I don't think he's going to be a long-standing member of the MCU. I think...
Maybe some of those characters fall from their timelines when they straighten everything out, and they land in our main timeline. You know, they came over from another timeline, there's no way to get back.
And Marvel's done it before with the Ultimate Universe and Miles Morales coming over to the main, 616. So it definitely has a possibility, but I do think they're going to want to cast their own X-Men.
it would be nice if they did something like that, but at the same time, once again, this goes back to what one of your original arguments about the multiverse is. It almost also could make it where death is no longer permanent. Because if the multiverse exists, and they can just dump people in from another universe, what's to say that, you know, one Tony Stark dies, but another one doesn't show up?
Well, that version of Pietro didn't die. Evan Peters did not die. But Aaron Taylor Johnson did die. So, you know, like you were saying, in this multiverse or dimension or whatever, he's dead, but the other one didn't die, and he's just got combined into here somehow.
But do you think he could be another reason that kind of takes Wanda's fragile ego and crushes it a little bit?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, I'm Quicksilver, but I'm from another universe. I'm going to kind of be hanging around, and it's going to remind her of what happened to her brother. I mean, we know after what happened, you know, with Monica Rambeau when she mentioned her brother, how that fared. So I think if he does end up being Quicksilver from the X-Men universe, that may have a bad effect on Wanda. And they could play that off to kind of bring this to Wanda going full villain. And with the multiverse being wide open in the multiverse of madness, that means there's potential to see Kang or Kangs. We know that Jonathan Majors has been confirmed to be an Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Doesn't mean he won't show up earlier, because we know he was originally hired for Loki to be He Who Remains, and Peyton Reed kind of was there at Marvel Studios and said, I want this guy to be my Kang, and please have this guy signed for like a 20-picture deal or something. I hope we see him for, you know, the next 10 years. I think that'd be great. But we could see Kang showing up and kind of moving things a certain way. Maybe even show up saying, hey, I'm here to help. But his plan is really conquering, and he's going to move pieces in a certain way to benefit him down the line.
This could stand to even be an even better setup than they did with Thanos, where we've got all these different variants of Kang showing up in all these Disney Plus shows or movies or what have you. Even more so than just like a little clip at the end of a movie where you've got Thanos putting on the Infinity Gauntlet. Now you could have another version of Kang showing up to cause some sort of trouble.
And remember, Kang is from the future, so he knows these people. These are all historical figures from him. He knows a lot more of them than they know of him. So he may have enough to manipulate everybody with just the right phrase, just the right situation to get everyone to do what he wants. So, you know, he could come in the Multiverse of Madness. So how is this Kang saga going to wrap up? We've talked a lot on this channel about Secret Wars kind of being the end. We know that with the multiverse, all these battle world kind of things come together and they battle for supremacy. And I thought about it was going to go that way for a long time. But with how Loki ended, I'm changing what I think.
Really?
He talked a lot about how the variant Kangs kind of battled each other for conquering other things. And I think the Kang saga is going to wrap up more kind of like Avengers Forever, where it was Immortus versus Kang, and they were using Avengers from all times and places to kind of battle and figure this all out. So we know that Immortus created the TVA and kept that sacred timeline and pruned anything going astray to make sure he was the only one. Well, now that is all broken open. We're going to have issues, and I think the Kangs are going to have a problem with He Who Remains / Immortus because they know what he can do and how he can set all of that up. So I think we're going to see the whole Kang saga, whether it be the end of Phase 4 or Phase 5, I'm hoping Phase 5 because I think there's a lot of stories to tell, is going to be more Avengers Forever and less Secret Wars.
I was hoping we'd get it all through, like he'd be the big bad. You know, we did have Ultron in between the Loki Avengers first movie, and then we had, but we still knew of Thanos. So we know of Kang. I just hope they keep building him up and take him all the way out to Phase 6. That's what I'm hoping for. But who knows, the way it's going now, the way Phase 4 has started,
Well, the cool thing about Kangs, there are so many of them that you could easily have a different version in both a villain and a hero role in different movies.
We may see Iron Lad show up in the Young Avengers and be a hero, and the Kang show up to fight Iron Lad because he's trying to stop him. And they could really slow burn Kang and this Avengers Forever or Secret Wars thing off years and years. And we could have other big bads stepping up. Like I said, I think Galactus will show up. I think he's going to try to, devour Earth. And there's so many other big bads that we could have show up, or just villains that could take, one movie and be done.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we still got one of the best villains in the Marvel comics yet to appear with Doctor Doom. So we could see Doctor Doom show up.
And be done right for once.
God, I hope so. But be the big bad while Kang kind of steps back in the shadows, still kind of manipulating events for his own good, and then show up as the big bad later. We know that Kang is showing up in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Are we going to see the Fantastic Four's first appearance in that movie?
That'd be fantastic.
Which could also mean Doctor Doom is hinted at. There have been a lot of rumors that Doctor Doom is going to show up in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. If they have kept Doctor Doom's casting under wraps this close to that movie, that's pretty impressive. But I do think we may see him, along with the Fantastic Four, whatever has kept them out of the MCU's, sacred timeline up until now, whether it's during the quantum realm or where they're at. I think that's all going to play out and it's going to be introduced in this movie, because Marvel's not going to do a Fantastic Four origin story.
I would hope not, because I think they made the right decision with Spider-Man not doing another origin story and not making us sit through another Uncle
Same with
Ben.
the Hulk.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that they've learned their lesson, to not overdo it with that. So yeah, I don't think they're gonna play with another Fantastic Four origin story again. Maybe it'll be another opening credits kind of thing, or it'll be brought up in one, like a Disney Plus show or something like that. Like,
You know who hasn't heard about that? Batman writers.
He's definitely there. But is he stuck in the quantum realm? Did the Fantastic Four and him have some battle, or they're doing something, trying to take over? Is Annihilus involved in any way? I mean, I think so many things, and I can't wait till we start getting casting news and when we're going to get this movie. We know the Spider-Man director is going to be doing the Fantastic Four movie, but we know nothing else about it. So I think the Fantastic Four are going to play a huge part in all of the Kang saga, because he was really a villain first in the Fantastic Four. He was Roma Tut, which if you watched our In Focus on Kang, that's one of his many variants. So is that going to play in somewhere? Are we going to see the Fantastic Four in ancient Egypt taking on, Roma Tut, aka Kang? I mean, I think that would be maybe overkill a bit, but it could be a 20-minute scene at the beginning of a Fantastic Four movie before they come back in time or get stuck in the quantum realm or whatever happens. That'll lead into them finally stepping into this sacred timeline of the MCU.
Keith, while you're on the topic of villains, like Doctor Doom potentially showing up, one thing that I'd say is, I guess more of a hope for me and a potential theory, Palooza, would be if we saw Kingpin come back as, I don't know if really a big bad would be the right word for it, but sort of like a mini bad. He's a bad.
He'd be a grounded big bad.
He would definitely be a grounded big bad, and he's got ties to Daredevil and Fantastic Four and Spider-Man. And
Deadpool.
And Deadpool, yes. I would really love to see him show up in, back in these Disney Plus shows or in these movies, squaring off against some of these other good guys and heroes. But trying to maintain this sort of noble image or whatever in Hell's Kitchen. But I would love to see him make an appearance again, and I would absolutely love if he was once again played by Vincent D'Onofrio.
Well, some of these characters were, they had the actors born to play them. Like Ryan Reynolds was born to play Deadpool. I think Vincent D'Onofrio was born to play Kingpin.
Well, just so
Charlie
you know,
Cox.
there has been a recent rumor that has come out that is saying Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin is going to show up in Hawkeye. And there was tons of stories about this because supposedly Vincent D'Onofrio liked a tweet that said this. And then he has since, there's pictures of it, we'll find one for you. He has since pulled it back. And there has been so many rumors that Charlie Cox's Daredevil is going to show up in Spider-Man No Way Home. We know that Hawkeye is coming out prior to Spider-Man No Way Home. So if we do get that Vincent D'Onofrio Kingpin there, we could easily be setting up what I have wanted to see in live action done well for the longest time, which is Daredevil Spiderman versus the Kingpin.
That would be amazing.
I mean, so many amazing comics have had this. I mean, it would be that grounded level thing that I think everyone would pay millions of dollars to see and see it multiple times because it has been done so well in the comics. And I think, you're talking about characters who are born to play the role. Charlie Cox as Daredevil, I mean, was fantastic. And the fact that he got to share a screen with Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin just made Daredevil still what I think is one of the best comic book shows still put out there. Now,
season 3
easily.
was so amazing.
And then if we get those guys back, and I can't remember the actor who played him, but in the comics, Bullseye was the substitute for Hawkeye in the Dark Avengers. So if they bring that actor back, that could be another recruit for Val to be part of her Dark Avengers.
That is an awesome theory, and I really hope that's true as well. Because, if anything, we need a Bullseye redemption too.
That's what we think is going to happen in Phase 4 of the MCM, the Marvel Cinematic Multiverse. But what do you guys think? Add us at Twitter, leave it in the comments below, and we will see you next time at Not Your Status Quo.